Welcome in, members. I somebody was calling me in, I guess, because I don't know. I could just hear somebody saying, that they just wanted me to do this, so here I am. So whoever was calling me in, here I am. I heard you. Okay, so what I'm getting, like all the cards that have come out here, it's a lot about relationships. It's a lot about lovers and partners. Um, Here's the thing, though. What I've been getting before I brought out any of the cards was how you can tell if somebody doesn't have the God spark. And I'm going to explain what I mean about the God spark. You could be having a relationship with somebody, and this could be anyone. It doesn't have to be a lover. This is like, oh my goodness, no, of course my dogs were whining. Hold on a moment. I'm just going to deal with them. Okay, folks, sorry about that. I'm just going to cut out that section because it took way longer. Okay. So before I started this reading, I kept getting the message of the God spark. So how to tell if somebody that you're dealing with has the God spark? You can't always go with your intuition, but I'll give you some ideas. So when you have somebody that doesn't seem to have any empathy or compassion, or they don't seem to really think or ask you anything about your day, it's like it's what they do is just like it's showing here, they're only mirroring what you're doing. I'm going to give you an example, and then you can take it from there because it's up to you to figure out who's who and who's what. Okay, so for instance, if you're, say, go to a funeral and you have, 20 people there, and then you have one person that is just sitting there, they don't seem to have any kind of emotion or anything. Now, I mean, they could be in shock, so you have to like evaluate it in other areas too, but this is just an example for this one thing. So for instance, everybody's, like, patting their eyes and, crying and, they're feeling their emotions and stuff like that. And then this other person, you'll notice them, they're just kind of looking around, and then they see that other people are doing that. So what all they're doing is really mimicking. So they're paying attention, and then like it's like they're like, "Oh, I guess I should be doing that too." So they'll just mimic what you're doing or mimic what the person next to them is doing. So that's how you could, like I said, you'll have to evaluate this person or people in different scenarios as well to kind of evaluate to see if they even have the God spark, because they're very well equipped with being able to mimic, you know what I mean? So they don't feel energy, they don't emit energy, they don't really resonate in an emotional way. And like I said, they only seem to react when they're confronted, and then they realize that, oh, their behavior isn't really conducive to what's going on. So then they just try to mimic back what you want from them. This is a really telltale sign that they don't have the God spark, especially when they don't seem to have compassion or empathy for you or your children or your family or your friends or their friends, or whatever the case may be. They might be really standoffish most of the time too, and or not really all that interested in your feelings or your personal life, even though you could be having a relationship with them. It's almost like you'll be able to tell because there's not like a give and take in the relationship. It's only more of a mimicking energy. And I don't really know why Spirit was bringing this out, but you can see like this is a Truth Oracle deck here. And I thought it was quite interesting that they brought out like all these cards that are in this deck are all about couples. The only ones that weren't is like this one, and the Mirror. So it could be, you know, like there's a lot going on here with these energies. So I don't know who called me in to do this reading, but, you know, anytime you guys want a reading done, you can just energetically call out to me and I will pick up on you and hear you. It's a freaky thing I can do, but the whole point here is, you know, you don't have to do it verbally. You don't have to like put it in comments or anything like that. Okay. Okay, so I threw my astrology dice here and it came out on Gemini. And of course, Gemini, what is that? It's all about the lovers. It's also, or the twins, I shouldn't say lovers, it's about the twins. So that's where I was thinking about, like, you know, where it was kind of giving me like that mirroring. It also has a lot to do with shape-shifting. So with this person, you know, being able to do like some kind of shape-shifting, I mean, it doesn't, they don't have to, you don't have to be a Gemini and they don't have to be a Gemini. Yeah, I'm just reading the information that Spirit has given me. So the number 7 here came out for the house, and the house is all about relationships, partnerships, marriage. They say soulmates, but that might not be the case here. Oh my goodness, my dog is crying again. I'm going to have to delete these out because I don't know what's going on. She was sleeping all day, but now she's all up and active. Hold on. Oh, you want to come in? Oh, okay. She might want to go out and use the bathroom again, but it's raining and yucky here today, so they're kind of just laying low and catching up on their sleep. They're as tired as I've been. Sleeping half the day. Okay, so the other dice came out on Mars, and Mars is like heavy masculine. It doesn't mean you're a masculine. It doesn't mean who you're with is masculine. You know, it's just, it's the energy. Like masculine is like moving forward. It's about having like determination and action. You know what I mean? It's a lot about the action. It's also, Mars is a lot about passion. The thing too is, it has a lot to do with hormones. It has a lot to do with your drive. Now, you could be having a shorter fuse than you normally would with this individual or individuals. So I guess it doesn't matter how many it is. You know, and it just seems like this energy here, it's like, you know, it's this mistress, or there's this third party, and then there's like unfinished business, and then something is taboo, you know, some kind of forbidden love or curiosity. You know, you're having these like encounters, you know, then you're reconciling. Do you know? So it's, but then there's like, you know, him walking away, her chasing, you know, or she's running away and he's chasing. It's like this back and forth. You know, things never seem to be resolved energy. You know, however, but I noticed that the intuition, like these two things came right out on the intuition. So, you know, the sixth sense that's happening here in your subconscious, I think you really have to tap into your intuition so you can really figure out and find out what's going on. You really have to judge this person. I know judging is probably not really a good thing because we're not really meant to be judging others. But in this kind of, you know, she's carrying this sword here, and it, you know, it just gives me this energy that, you know, it's time to really sort things out and decide to, you know, cut these people off. Oh, that's not a sword. Is that a sword? I can't even tell. You know, I actually thought that the end of her dress was a snake, but I was completely wrong. Actually, it looks like a walking stick. No, it's a sword. Yeah, it's definitely a sword. So, you know, like it's okay to you know, and I see how she has this blindfold on too. So it makes me think that it's really important for you to check in with your inner knowing, with your sixth sense, your intuition, to figure out what kind of person here, you know, because if not, what's going to happen is, I mean, you could be clearing up some kind of karma, or like serendipity is where, you know, you know, just meeting by chance, but nothing is ever by accident. So if you're on your healing journey and you're doing the work, you know, and you run into somebody like this, and you know it's like a whirlwind of romance or whatever, you know, that person could come in just to take you off your path, right? So I don't know if that's what's happening here, because they keep pointing out like serendipity, and then they're showing me this card. So, you know, I noticed too that they're always like face to face, you know what I mean? And it's like, you know, with this mirroring here. So this person's always going to be like, if you start falling for this person, then this person's going to mimic your energy. They're going to mimic your feelings back to you, though they're not their feelings, right? Yeah, you could be making you might have made a lot of concessions with this person, you know, and then here it came out with cloudy judgment here. You know, it's funny how I left a space in the middle. So illusions on balance distort it. So this could be your intuition is being clouded. You know, and that's what this energy will do too. These type of people, they don't have, if they don't have the God spark, then that means that they don't really have a soul. And that's not to put anybody down or to, you know, diminish your relationship in any way, because if you're here on my channel, you have some kind of gift. And when you have a gift, you become prey to the negative energies. And they will, you know, find out what your vulnerability is. So, you know, you could have been wanting to find a soulmate, or, you know, someone to share your life with. And that's great because, I mean, who doesn't, right? Yeah, a little chasing thrills, excitement, and a good time. So this person might have brought in a lot of these energies, you know, like, because, you know, if you get excited, they're going to get excited. Look, and I split on divine masculine yet again. You know, I split this deck on divine masculine too. It's a lot of masculine energy here. Okay, let's see here. Whoops. Look, they mean, oh, jeez. Look, karma, consequences, cause and effect, debts. Yeah, so they have karma here twice. Okay. Yeah, this could be causing a lot. Look, ecstasy just fell out again. Okay. Bottom, spy, social network, information, ways. Yeah, this person could be spying on you. Could be looking up in your, going through your social media and stuff like that. Finality, farewells, leave behind, closure. See this man walking away, just like the man's walking away here. They're bringing up a lot of little divine masculine again. No joke. Spirit. One more. Escaping, avoiding, blocking, and pushing away. Only you. Devoted, attached, crave. You see how, remember the spine card with the eye looking through the hole? And here, here's another one looking through. Escaping. Exhaustion. Just talking about that, being exhausted. Hopeless, sinking, despair, falling apart. Okay. You could have been in love with, well, I'm going to say a false person. So healing from that takes time. Releasing, letting go, moving on, walking away. There's a lot about walking away here. Some kind of, resistance. Suppressing. I just put it on hopeless again. You notice how I put, I was talking about the God spark here, and look at this, chemistry, attraction, spark, and passion. And Mars is a lot about passion, but I'm going to tell you right now, having the clarity, the truth, and intentions, the honesty, this is what's really happening here, because with this clarity, whole divine feminine. Okay. Yeah, alone there's exhaustion. Ooh, okay. Obsession, infatuation, addiction. Yeah, okay. So this is like, it's draining you. It's created a lot of turbulence and tension and arguments. The person probably doesn't really show a whole lot of emotions either. All the argument could be coming from you, and this is why your fuse is so short. This, like I said, it doesn't have to be lovers. I know it's bringing up a lot about lovers, but, long conflict, clashing differences, incompatible. Yeah, you really got to be, looking twin flame, mirroring, shared feelings, reflection. See, the thing is, though, it's not shared feelings. Well, I guess they are, because it's mirroring. But if they're not real, it's not authentic. It's a lot about this walking away. Leave behind. Create some kind of closure here. And this person's only just going to bring conflict. Okay, let me just set these aside here. Okay. Actually, they wanted me to bring out a postcard from Spirit here. Yeah, with all this kind of going on the board here, this is all that turbulence. This is all that the back and forth. You know what I mean? The person could be like avoiding, and you feel like they're pushing you away because they're not engaging with you, like they're not engaging in the way you want them to. And like I said, you'd have to evaluate them in different scenarios, but they could be somebody that just doesn't really connect with with your children. Hold on a moment. I forgot to do something. Hold on. I just realized I left something on. I gotta go turn it off. I'll be right back. I'm sorry. Okay. Sorry for the interruption again. Life, just the way it goes. Okay. Okay. Let's see here. I'm going to pull one of these Angels of Atlantis cards here. Whoa. That's way too many. Whoa. Cards are bouncing all over the place today. The energy is crazy. Look. Brazil. Intuition. Yeah, that said retreat on it. Retreat. Friendship. Okay. Suppose your intuition again. You know, that doesn't surprise me because, you know, I was just noticing too, like on the postcard here, it's like a cherub and it's like shooting an arrow. Yeah, because just like I was saying, how when you're gifted, I mean, you might not think you're gifted, but we're all gifted. We all have gifts in some capacity. And like I said, if you're here on my channel, you definitely have some sort of gift. I don't know what that is for you. You have to discover that for yourself. But, you know, the universe of the negative, they don't want you to come into your power. They don't want you to find out who you truly are, because you will be a big part of shifting the earth. And with, see, and I just noticed that here, like where you're connecting, like when you start connecting to your intuition, that means you're also connecting to the stars, you're connecting to source, all that is. And that shifts the energies of the earth and the universe as a whole. And it helps for them to lose control. So they're going to they're going to, you know, try to shoot, you know, these kind of people in your path to try to create some kind of infatuation or ecstasy, you know what I mean? But really what they're doing is they're draining you. They're siphoning through that soulless person. They're siphoning your energy. That's why this person could feel so exhausting. And that's why they want you, you know, I noticed that I have like releasing here and then I put exhaustion. Like, that's why they want you to let go and walk away and move on. Do you want to go out? This dog. What is your deal? You know, the back and forth, you know what I'm saying? Here we go. Okay, move your bum. Okay. Yeah. All right, okay. So, let's see what kind of character that you could be dealing with here. Healer of ailments, treatment, surgery, diagnosis, compassion. Okay, let's see what else is here. Vitality, innovation, potential, and growth. You know, this person doesn't have to be a doctor. It could be some, I mean, I have a feeling that the healer is you. You have to diagnose this person. You have to diagnose them through their compassion. You notice how there's exhaustion and then it has vitality and innovation, potential, and growth. Once you let go of this energy, you're going to have all kinds of a lot more vitality to you, because they won't be connected to you, drawing your energy. Yeah, look. Seeker of knowledge, inquisitive progress, explorer. Yeah, of your intuition. What's going on here? Okay. So, what else? Waiter, attendant, hospitality, steward, cleaner. Yeah, okay. This, where it comes out on like this mirror and stress with this attraction, the spark, this is like your guide. They're ready to help clean up this energy from your aura. Yeah, look on the bottom, lost soul. And look at this one, hopeless. See how he's got his hands, like clenched together and his head down? And look. Seeker of clarity, wander, confusion, defeat, and struggle. Comes out educator, mentor, guide, and teacher. Just like I was saying here, with the learner here, the seeker of knowledge with your intuition. Yeah, they want to teach you here. They're trying to, because they're impartial, right? Yeah, here, a little coach on the bottom too. Train, nurture, develop a plan, encourage, and support. That's what your guides are doing here. Look, and you have lawyer. And you have law up here. Look at that. You have the law with the scales. You have the scales again. With an advisor. Look at this. So then you have like athlete, seeker of vitality, exercise, life, strength, and speed. Comes right out under the waiter here. It's like to clean up this energy. It's going to bring a lot of vitality because they have vitality. And is this separate decks? No, it's the same deck. Okay. Look. So mother. So selfless love, nurturer, source of life, maternal, patience, comforter. And if this person isn't, this is that lost soul. This person does not have a soul. Whoever this person was, that's how you're going to know, because they're not selfless when it comes to love. They don't even really know how to love. They're just mimicking back to you what you are. So they're not a nurturer. They don't have the source of life in them. They don't have any kind of maternal. They're not patient. They don't comfort. Look on the bottom. Time to go. Oh yeah, I split this deck. Time to go. Again. The here and now. Okay, so time to go. Here and now. Just breathe. Yeah. I notice that they're bringing out this lotus position here. Just breathe. You're going to regenerate once, the mending. Yeah, exactly, Spirit. Time to go, here and now. Just breathe. It'll help you connect to your intuition. This mirroring stress here, that's going to be regeneration. And then the mending over here. No kidding. Look at this. It's on underneath here. It's to be fair. And look, the scales yet again. I didn't even know this card. Those scales in this card. That's scales 3 times. You have the law here with the scales. You have the justice here with the scales, with the advisor, the lawyer. And then you have to be fair with scales again. And the owl with all the intuition. That is very interesting. Your guides and loved ones and angels are really trying to balance the scales for you. They're splitting it here because it's going to be a never-ending story. Yeah, the short fuse is always going to be a never-ending story for you. You know, this energy, you're never going to, you know, the thing is, like, once you start going through your healing, yeah, the fates here, yeah. Again, the fork in the road. This is you trying to make decisions. You know, like I said here, with the blindfold, you have to really use your intuition to figure out which way to go. You know, like I was saying here earlier about the never-ending story, it's never going to, but when you go into starting to heal a little bit and, you know, kind of discovering what's going on around you, that's when you start to see the people from the past. You start looking at them and really evaluating them, judging them, and not in a bad way, but just to judge them so you know that, you know, how they treated you and how the importance for you to move on from them. And, you know, like I noticed I had put like to be fair, right? Time to go, but the here and now, you know, you have your past and your future here, you know, to be fair to yourself, to them, you know, it you know, it's not so much like, I don't want to say, it's not that they're a bad person, but they don't have a soul. Yeah, see it, like you need to lead. See how this family is leading? You know, you might have always been somebody that's done everything by the book and explains why the law is here. And, you know, this doctor came out, you know, that's probably why, because you felt like, you know, you've done everything you were supposed to do. You've done, you know, you were as flexible as you could. You've bent over backwards for this person to make it work. But once you start healing and you start seeing things and people for who they are, you realize that you're only the one doing the bending. And that's when you find your treasure. Yeah, start building. New building blocks, starting over. Yeah. Okay, Spirit. Whoa, let's drop that deck. Yeah, the fear of it all here on the bottom. I invite you, Divine Beloved, to move through me in all ways, guiding my actions in every moment. Let me release all fear and feel unbridled openness to the new. Okay, that's way too many. I don't know what that's about. Okay, let's see what's here. Okay. Oh, my hand's going to sleep again. I don't know what that's about. It's like my wrist or something's pinching a nerve. Putting up boundaries, that's right. I am entitled to say no. Change me, Divine Beloved, into one who easily sets boundaries wherever needed. May I feel entitled to say no to any situation that feels bad or wrong. Fill me with divine confidence. Speak through me. Yes, and like I said, that's your intuition. Like you're connecting through your intuition. You're connecting to your guides. Yeah, look, balance again. My needs will be met. Yeah, because your boundaries are going to put your needs in. Yeah, you need to trust. You really do. Yeah, you really need to trust your guides. And it keeps trying to split it. Your intuition again. My God, Spirit. I love this. It's splitting here again, too. Divinity. I know my true identity. You know, you notice that that individual sitting the same way as that intuition card there. So you have a lot here going on about your intuition and the balancing. So you have intuition out here 3 times, is it? 4 times. And you have the scales out here is it 4 times? 3 times. Well, if you include the balance card, that's 4 times. Okay. So let's just move these over here. Let's see what we have here. Whoopsie. Generosity. I am abundant love. Change me, divine beloved, into one who can easily send blessings to all, even those filled with negativity or fear. May I shower the planet with love, knowing there is an unlimited ocean within me. Just like I said, when you start healing and you start, you're judging these people, but you're not judging them in a bad way. You're just judging them so that you can understand the energy, so you don't make that same mistake again. So you'll be able to see people for their true selves. Look, here you are with the beauty. I am a spark of divinity. No kidding. That's, when I was talking about that spark, they brought that spark up a couple times now. Where's that other one that talks about the spark? Oh, it's here, but yeah, there we go. So I was talking about in the very beginning, now we have the spark here 3 times. This is amazing. Okay. So I am a spark of divinity. Change me, divine beloved, into one who knows without question my own beauty, worthiness, and desirability. Let me remember constantly who I am, love itself in a temporary human form. Oh, that is beautiful. Very beautiful. And then it came up with boundaries. I am entitled to say no. Change me, divine beloved, into one who easily sets boundaries wherever needed. May I feel entitled to say no to any situation that feels bad or wrong. Fill me with divine confidence. Speak through me. And that's, again, it comes right out on intuition. Okay, and the balance was next here. And this is with the stress and the mirroring thing here. And what's under that? Regeneration, yeah. My needs will be met. Change me, divine beloved, into one who can fully offer my schedule to you. So my life can be in balance. Let me take rest whenever necessary, trusting that one way or another, all needs will be met. And then intuition again. Change me, divine beloved, into one who can offer all major decisions to you. Let me trust you're always guiding me in the right directions. May I always remember that if something is meant to be, out of no way, God finds a way. God does find a way. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, and one more, divinity. I know my true identity. May I always remember my true identity. Unlimited light and love. Let me know myself as pure consciousness. Wake me from the sleepwalk of believing I am only human. Wow, that's cool. And the bottom, success. Okay, is there anything else here, Spirit? Well, yeah, there we got movement again. Oops, put that there. Determination and movement. Having that determination and movement. I'm going to read this intuition one here. Intuition. Brazil. I don't know where to find these. I'll have to just mutter around here. I guess it's back here. Brazil. Intuition. Nope. There's something here. Hold on. Okay. What's going on? I wish these were numbered. Oh, I know. I was looking under the wrong one here. Raphael. Good grief. I don't know why I can't find this. Sometimes we really have to struggle to find our way. Gabriel, Canel, Jophiel, Metatron, Michael. Sometimes things aren't always easy, right? Raphael, Raziel, here we go. He's like the divine mysteries. That's what he's under. Okay, oh, the pages were not opening. What is going on? The struggle's real. Oh, there it is, intuition. Jeez, wake up. Okay, the oracle wishes you to turn inwards to your intuition, to the natural laws of your soul, which will guide you through the pulsations of eternal love. Trust this inner wisdom, O dear one, as it is the abundance of your spirit that speaks to you. Listen carefully to these inner murmurings, for when we are called to a teaching, a guide, a vision, a book, a piece of music, or a natural landscape, it means there is something powerful that will be communicated to us. Raziel is at one with your profound inner intelligence and wants you to be awake to these whisperings. Sit in silence for the ocular proof of Raziel's love. Well, that's amazing. And that's true too, because that's how spirit really speaks to me a lot. Like they'll just have me open up a book and they'll have me flip through it and open a page, and then it's almost like there's a finger and it just shows me, like it draws my attention, right? And that's how I get a lot of my messages. Like sometimes I could just see a cloud and it'll change into, like, I don't know, an elephant or a turtle or a whale or something, you know what I mean? Okay, now this one, dearest you, everything is in divine order. Oh, they brought out a card here about divine intervention and divine timing. Okay. Even in chaos, there is order, and we are always in awe of this. For you, though, on your human journey, things can get disorganized in your mind and physical reality. You need to get rid of the clutter, whether it to be many stories in your mind, too many what ifs, or fearful thoughts of the past or future. You know, and they even brought out the card here. It's got the past here and the future, the here and now. See, that sign says past and that sign says future. You got to be in the present. Instead, focus on the now. Empty your mind, clean your house, and throw out any object that tells you an uncomfortable story. Discern what you have. Sort, purge, clear, and organize. We want you to have space to fill with something better. That's why they're talking about the movement. It'll allow the energy to start moving. Positive energy. Spirits love a vacuum as it gives space for brilliant new energy. Just like I said, let go of what is not serving you and give order to what remains. See them and know their value. Your soul needs organization in order to keep your connection to us and to spirit free of distractions. You are so adored by so many. We hope you really know that. Wow. That's pretty cool. Okay, that's all I have for you guys. So like I said, you know, if you want me to do any kind of special reading or anything, just kind of, you know, tune your energy towards me, and I will hear the call. I mean, it might take me a couple days to get to it, but I will hear the call. Anyway, so I'm just going to leave it here, and hope you guys are doing well and sorting through all this. The yuck of the world, I guess, is really what it is. You know, just got to sweep it all up and keep our energy and our space clean and keep moving forward. It's really all we can do. So with that, I'm going to send you all my love and light, and hope this video finds you well. Have a good day, everyone. Bye.